That definitely could have gone a lot better, but we got the Chaos Emerald at least, and that's what matters. We have these little disappearing blocks here, kind of reminds me of Mega Man of all things. And we have these little springs to take us up to this ledge here, with more of these appearing and disappearing blocks. Now we basically have to carefully make our way through here. We have more shields, which is nice, and a couple little robots along the path, but nothing we can't handle. There actually are a couple of these, so let's see what we get this time. And we got the exact same one. I am going to try to show them off, so it is unfortunate. So let's head down here and see what's next. Once we make our way through here, we should see something very special. We have like a flying fortress of sorts chasing after us and dropping bombs after us. So as long as you hold right, you'll be able to outpace all the explosives, no worries. But kind of a cool set piece. I feel like this game does have a lot of set piece moments, which is actually very different than like Sonic 2, I'd say. Which I almost feel like doesn't have as many like cinematic moments, if that makes sense. And there's Dr. Robotnik. A little preview of who we'll be seeing shortly. And of course, that is what we're fighting, this little robot. It has 2 fire attacks, firing straight down to break the bridge, and then from here on out it should fire diagonally to try to send them across the platform. Be careful when attacking the boss, especially if you're playing with Tails, because if he deals damage, Eggman won't have a hitbox, and you can accidentally fall into the pit, especially when Eggman's over the pit there. But our capsule's flying this time. And welcome to the zone that's been the subject of Sonic fan debates for, like, 25 years now. Hydrocity Zone, or Hydrocity Zone if you prefer. I will probably say it both ways, because I tend to say it both ways, just... In some ways I almost find it, kind of just funny to go back and forth because of how hotly debated this is. But this is our required underwater area. This one's actually not that bad though. Like, as far as underwater Sonic levels go, this one is pretty tolerable. Though I fully admit I will not be going after any rings. If we find a ring, it'll be by complete luck, because I actually don't remember where most of them are in Hydro City. We might find a couple. I think I know where one is. It's just a matter of being on the right path and elevation for it. So if we find it, that's cool. If not, I actually know where like 3 rings are in the next zone. So we'll easily be able to get the Chaos Emeralds pretty easily by like not even the midpoint of Sonic 3, which is great. The sooner we can turn into Super Sonic, the better. I have no clue where I'm going, by the way. Also, Hydro City definitely excels on its music. I actually really like the soundtrack of Sonic 3, which is also a problem people have with this collection, but that's neither here nor there. We'll definitely have time to talk about that later. By the way, one interesting thing about Sonic 3 is you have a move that is new to this version of the game that's kind of like not as helpful as you might think it is because of the elemental system. I wonder what this will give us. I am actually being attacked by a piranha, so I actually can't jump. It really likes giving me this special stage, apparently. I'm actually trying to remember if this is like a Sonic 3 thing, or if we have to get further into the game to see some of the others. I actually don't remember. But I distinctly remember like 3 at minimum, so it is kind of odd that we haven't seen any of the others, unless I'm completely misremembering how to actually unlock those, which that might be the case. Again, Sonic 3 is not a game I have the best memory of, even though I do think it's a great Sonic game, and definitely I'd say the best of the originals. It's actually not the one I've played the most. I think I have played Sonic 2 more. Through here, we have rings. I was hoping for a giant ring, but oh well. Again, I don't really remember where everything is, and we're actually at the end of the stage. This is a very notorious boss. It's actually kind of annoying, because if you don't attack it, quickly enough, it'll basically start like a spin cycle. Also, we have this move called the Insta Shield, which basically shields us from damage and also makes it easier to deal damage to enemies, because if we have invincibility, we don't have to worry about like trading damage. Yeah, this boss is kind of annoying. The faster you get through it, the better. Knuckles actually has a really hard time with this fight because he actually has a lower jump. This is what I was trying to show off in Angel Island 1. You can actually juggle the signpost, and depending on where it lands, you can actually get items. So that item went to waste, unfortunately. But now we are on to Hydrocity Act 2, which I actually really like this song as well. Again, Sonic 3 has a fantastic soundtrack. We have this little section here with the wall trying to crush us, so we have to carefully and quickly make our way through. I'm not concerned about the coin. I have 116, so that's plenty of tries. I definitely hope that the special stages don't take us 116 tries, but who knows? Better to be on the safe side. We have these little moving like cylinders going up and down that we can actually ride across to this upper area. I do remember a giant ring being near a section with a bunch of those little cylinder platforms. We also have this little hand here that'll hold us in place to allow us to zoom up here. But yeah, with the Insta Shield, it definitely makes certain fights easier, but in Sonic Mania, I've been meaning to show this off, but we've had shields for so much of this that it's been impossible to show this off. We also have the drop dash from Sonic Mania. Actually, I think this is where I want to be. Maybe not. Also, a new feature in this version, which was also added to the mobile versions of Sonic 1 and 2. If you hold up when jumping, you can actually call Tails to help carry you. In the original, you weren't able to directly control that, so that definitely makes finding certain giant rings way easier. We still aren't at a great place to show off the drop dash, sadly. This is a very platformy level, not really a go-fast level. Yeah, we have the drop dash from Mania, and because this game was specifically made for the collection, not retrofitted, the drop dash actually animates and works properly. Like, it's difficult to change directions as you start charging up the drop dash in Sonic 1, 2, and CD. But yeah, in this version, or in this game, in the collection, the drop dash does work completely as intended, which is nice. I think I see where it is, but nope, we're actually good. Let's try to summon Tails. He's actually below this platform, which is unfortunate. So I actually don't know if he'll respawn. I think he's actually... Okay, there we go. Managed to get him onto that platform. Let's have him carry us up here. Actually, this is the wrong spot. This is just a coin. But I do remember a similar set piece with a giant ring. Yeah, this is definitely not an area I remember super well, to the point where I usually just skip out on Chaos Emeralds at Hydrocity and just clean up the rest of them in the next zone, just because it's easier to find everything. We also have this little area over here to the right, so let's check this out. Let's zoom up this little slide here. It's actually very cool being able to go backwards up a slide because we're going so fast. Alright, so now we have invincibility, so we can kind of coast through here, not having to worry about any of the enemies. I saw where one of the giant rings is, it's right there. Actually saw it from the other side, but it's just a matter of actually landing on that platform. We're here, we might as well go for it, even though I know plenty of giant ring locations coming up. I say as I keep clipping the edge of that, moving block structure very consistently. Actually, Tails can't carry you underwater, by the way, which makes sense. Obviously, flight is one thing, but underwater is a different story. There we go, finally. I remember this one being a nightmare. we have a bunch of blue spheres kind of by themselves here, which by collecting these, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I've already screwed up getting the perfect if I actually collect all 4 of these, but again, not overly concerned, because now we have the exact total of rings as we do spheres, meaning literally every blue sphere has to be, like, collected now. And so when we turn the final group into rings, we'll just clear the mission, and won't have a chance to actually collect any of them. Yeah, some of these stages are actually really confusing, and yeah, it gets really disorienting. Like, I have a hard time keeping track of where I've already been, and then as it speeds up and you have less time to actually think and react, it starts to get really, yeah, disorienting. But yeah, in theory, I actually do like Blue Sphere. It's just a lot of the later stages are very frustrating. That should give us 9 left after this group. So yeah, we have a set of 9 somewhere, but I have no clue where. I'm not even worried about the rings since we actually can't get a perfect now. I have a feeling it's actually past here. That was actually a close call. I almost ran straight into the red spheres. Okay, this is where I've already been. Yeah, so I definitely get lost a lot. I don't have the best sense of direction. There we go, finally found them. Sonic games really have a problem with, like, pacing if you're trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds, because you definitely want to get them sooner than later, while you have chances to, but it definitely means having to stop and actually, like, complete special stages. So, like, with the previous playthroughs, it was actually fascinating seeing how slow the early areas went, and then the last areas just zoom by, because you don't have to stop and explore as much. I feel like Sonic 3 actually hits a good balance between Sonic 2's like very speedy gameplay and Sonic CD's more like vertical exploration gameplay. So yeah, it's a very good balance. I actually do feel like this is the best of both worlds. So yeah, it's one of those things where I definitely, even though I have a preference for Sonic 2 because nostalgia mainly, I can't deny that Sonic 3 is like the best one. I don't know if I've actually mentioned that, but I think I have in past playthroughs, but I don't know if that's come up in this playthrough. But I actually grew up with the Sonic Mega Collection for GameCube, so that's actually caused me to have a very interesting opinion on Sonic 3 and Knuckles as a whole, where I actually think it's very front-loaded. Basically, I think the early stages are better, or at least I like the early stages better out of familiarity. Partly because of the way the games were structured on that collection, where you actually had to play the 2 games individually first, and to unlock Sonic 3 and Knuckles Locked On. By the way, this game did use lock-on technology, as it was called, which was basically taking one cartridge and sticking it on top of the other cartridge to combine Sonic 3 and Knuckles into one cohesive adventure, because it was originally designed as one game and then got split up. So we had another run-in with Knuckles, sabotaging us once more. I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm pretty sure the sparkle color indicates what minigame it's going to be, so I think that'll be the same one. We have another mech here. This one will basically create a pillar of water using this propeller. Once it's not directly up against the propeller, and you want to jump on top of this pillar of water and then jump up to deal damage. If you're playing Tails, obviously you can completely trivialize this. You can also use the blasts to launch you upwards to deal extra damage. This boss is cool, but I actually like something else more in the franchise, for reasons that'll be apparent once we get to Sonic Mania, which will probably be a while. one of the best remembered features of Sonic 3 is zone transitions. So basically, every time you finish a zone, there's a story reason of why you go to the next zone. Like that water jet launched us all the way back to the surface into Marble Garden Zone. It's very clever, and yeah, it definitely helps these zones to feel more connected. Alright, so we want to go up here. We have this fake spike. That's actually a bouncy enemy, but if we actually spin dash here, we should find another ring. I am trying to remember the trick of this one. I think what you're supposed to do if you're concerned about perfect bonuses is basically go along each path and specifically only collect one set of blue spheres in order to leave a path back throughout this stage. This is another one I fully expect to botch at least once, to be honest. Just because I usually botch this one. What usually happens is I get completely turned around, and then while trying to figure out where I'm trying to go, I end up running straight into a red sphere or something. I already feel like I messed this up a little bit, so we'll have to see how this goes. I definitely am not playing this well. I definitely would recommend going in like a straight line. Basically going like in columns and rows. I'm kind of zigzagging through this in a way that's like extremely ill-advised. I do not recommend this because I'm actually cutting off pathways for myself later on. Yeah, like definitely just stick to one direction and stick to it. Not like, yeah, trying to like, you know, make all sorts of these like right angles through here, because that's just making it harder to keep track of everything. At least we got the rings already, so all that's left is the actual blue spheres. The main problem right now is because I messed up some of the pathing. There's a very good chance that we'll end up boxing ourselves into an area